Okay, we're trying to win fantasy football week 6. We look for the shootouts on the schedule, and we look for passing games in flux. That is the way to win, especially this week, especially week 6. Where are our shootouts? The shootouts start with Cardinals Packers. So you want to get Kyler Murray active. You want to play Jordan Love. This game could go 35-32. James Conner, play him. 2 touchdowns in his range of outcomes. Same with Josh Jacobs. Of course, you know you're playing Jaden Reed. Of course, you know you're playing Marvin Harrison Jr. Lean into that volatility. Start Trey McBride. Start Tucker Kraft. Tucker Kraft's not a 1-week wonder. Most importantly, you must go back to Dontayvion Wicks. Dontayvion Wicks, he only ran 20 routes last week, but the snap share was up close to 90%. He was participating in most of the pass plays. He was on the field. He got the 7 targets. It just didn't bounce his way last week. Only 2 catches on 7 targets, but he had 2 touchdowns the week before. Nothing's changing about Dontayvion Wicks. He's a big-time playmaker down the field. You want to get him in your lineup. Some people are going to be benching Dontayvion Wicks. Don't be that person. Don't be that fantasy gamer where you're starting him in the weeks he duds out, and then you're not starting him in the weeks that he smashes. Don't let it happen to you. And the game with an even higher total, it's Commanders-Ravens. That means you go back to Zay Flowers. Of course, you're going back to Terry McLaurin. Naturally, you're playing Derrick Henry if you have him, but don't forget to start Brian Robinson. Brian Robinson is the real deal. At the goal line, they're using Jaden Daniels more as a decoy and just handing it off to Brian Robinson for another touchdown, another touchdown, another touchdown. Because there's so many points projected to be scored in this game, you have some fringe wide receiver options in deeper leagues. Rashod Bateman, he is a downfield playmaker. He's top 10 in the league in average target depth, 8+ targets last week. Now, he didn't catch most of his targets last week, but like Dontayvion Wicks, you go right back to Rashod Bateman in deep leagues that start 3+ wide receivers, lots of flex positions. Rashod Bateman is a super savvy start with TD equity. And don't forget about Dynami Brown. Dynami Brown had that nice 40-yard catch. He's starting to run more routes, be more involved in the offense as a super cheap option in DFS. We're just looking for the most inexpensive upside on the waiver wire. Dynami Brown is someone, especially this week, that you can consider starting. And if you're desperate, it's hard out in these tight end streets to get production. This would be the week to start Andrews or Likely. Just take a shot on getting some share of all those points that are supposed to be scored. And then you got the Lions Cowboys. 52-point total. Of course, you're starting Amon-Ra St. Brown. Of course, you're starting CeeDee Lamb, Jameson Williams. But don't forget about Jalen Tolbert. Jalen Tolbert broke out last week, ran 38 routes, 90% snap share, seized that number 2 wide receiver job now that Brandon Cooks is on the IR. 10 targets. He was a super productive college player, but it was a small school. It's taken him a while to get acclimated to the league. He's there now. You can go back to him in a shootout game environment and start Rico Dowdle. Rico Dowdle's a great DFS play. Rico Dowdle's a great everything play this week. I mean, Dowdle's top 25 in the league in weighted opportunities. When you look at the receptions he's commanding out of the backfield, he's been super effective and efficient. His 2.81 yards per route run ranks number 4 among NFL running backs. The opportunities, the touches are really tilting his way in recent weeks. You got to push the start button on Rico Dowdle, as well as those 2 quarterbacks, Dak Prescott and Jared Goff. Then there's Falcons-Panthers. Chuba Hubbard, you're starting him. He's an every week starter now. You can confidently go back to Deontay Johnson with Andy Dalton under center. Deontay Johnson is a complete target commander. This is the week to start Bijan Robinson. We had this week circled on the calendar, so you got to go right back to Bijan Robinson. This may not be the week that Drake London gets there. More of a Bijan week than a Drake London week. Then you got a couple offenses that are in flux. Think about the Eagles. They face the Browns. Getting A.J. Brown back, get him in your lineup. Getting Devonta Smith back, get him in your lineup. Because they're coming back, can't as confidently put Dallas Goedert in your lineup. And look out for Jameis Winston coming in the second half. That'd be a boon for Amari Cooper. Make sure you're starting him. And this is a sneaky week to start Jerry Jeudy as well. And then don't forget Texans-Patriots. I know it's a 38-point total. That's going to smash the over because it's the Drake Maye era. Drake Maye is here. You're rostering Polk in deep leagues. You're rostering Douglas in deep leagues, hoping for some major signs of life with Drake Maye. But when you're looking at who you're starting this week, of all the Patriots pass catchers, I like Hunter Henry the best. But the absolute stone lock to finally pop off with a spike week is Tank Dell. You have to get Tank Dell in your lineup with Nico Collins headed to IR, Drake Maye potentially creating a shootout game environment. Ooh, go watch that little Tank Dell explode.